Well, greetings, everybody. I'm happy you guys able to get on. Good to see some new faces and some faces I ain't seen in a while. Sabrina's normally here with me, but she's here in spirit, so she's keeping me pumped up as usual. If this is your first time, this is a Masternomics class. We do this every Thursday. It's a free class, so we go over business. We'll go over personal development and self-mastery, information that just helps you advance your life. Masternomics is a company that focuses on personal development and professional development. So, myself, a business coach and a life coach, I help people on a daily basis to transform their lives, right? To help you do whatever it is that you want to do, from any walks of life. I deal with doctors, I deal with artists, and anything that you're doing in life and you want to excel. This is what Masternomics is for, because we focus on the mind. We focus on the mental aspects of us that help shift us to another level. So I often tell people I don't help just businesses, I help develop business owners, because with that, it's a mindset shift. And so we do these 45 minutes to an hour classes every Thursday to give out information to just help us excel. We ask that you share it, invite people, let people know, subscribe to our YouTube channel, be a part of the Facebook group, and just help spread information that's going to help people develop. I think that it's imperative that everyone should be an entrepreneur in some aspect, whether if you work a job or not. You should have a side business. When you think about what's happening with the economy, and just the fact that this is your way to financial freedom. Controlling your own time and controlling your own destiny is your way to financial freedom. And so that's what Masternomics is about, and that's what we focus on. We focus on helping people become entrepreneurs, excel in their business that they're in now, develop the business in every aspect. Most importantly, developing yourself. So we go through a lot of different topics. We've been going through the laws of the universe and how they apply to us as people, and how we can adopt those to our everyday life and in our business. So you can go to the Masternomics on YouTube, and you'll see some of the previous recording classes. So we had the law of vibration, the law of action, the law of compensation. We got classes on investment. And when you look at those classes, you'll find out that we go deep into the true meanings of this and how it can apply to you, right? How does this affect you every day, your everyday life? So I always tell people what we were taught in school about business is really not the business that's going to transform you. Okay, what they taught us about economics in school is not what helps you become financially free, and not what gets you into wealth building. It's the information that they did not put in the books. What helps us develop to get the money that we want in life, and to get the success that we want in our businesses, and just get the fulfillment, because it's not all about money, is developing yourself internally and adopting the habits. So successful people just have better habits than non-successful people. And what they do is they habitually do these things over and over again. So that's what we're focusing on, information that's going to transform us and give us the right habits that are going to help us go to another level. So today we're going to be talking about balancement in life and in business, and understanding the importance of balancement, understanding that you have to have balance in everything we do. It's just how the universe is set up. It's a balancement. Everything is balanced. There's positive and negative. And so much that we see in this world, we see extremisms, right? You're either supposed to be here or you're supposed to be there. But the reality is the middle ground is where you need to be, so you will know how to move. So we're going to talk about balancement, how it affects us, and how we can adopt balancement in our life and shift and go to a higher level once we have a better understanding of balancement. So I'm going to share my screen and we're going to get into it. So, you know, we like to break down the words and we like to get to the meat of the matter, as I say. So balance. Balance is a condition in which different elements are equal or in correct proportions. So, you know, people say, but try to keep a balance between work and relaxation. But the reality is it's a condition with its different elements, usually opposing opposites. But we want to keep them in equal, correct proportion. So just think about that for a second, right? Balance, right? Maintaining balance, making sure that different areas of one's life, such as work and personal relationships, remain on an even keel. As an entrepreneur, think about what you do in your life. Everyone on here is in some form of entrepreneurship. Think about the balance you have to have in your personal and your professional life, in your personal relationships and in your professional business. You know, when I always talk to people, when I sit down with them, I always say, you know, part of my job is to get in your business. And they said, well, they think business is just talking about the numbers of their shop. But in the reality, right, your personal life directly affects your business. Because I've talked to some people and they're in a bad relationship at home. And it's not that the relationship is bad, they're just not relating with their partner, right? And so therefore, they don't have any support at home. Well, what do you think that does to their business? It produces an imbalancement in the business, okay? It produces chaos. Because what happens is a lot of times there's no balance. Like you can't work all day. You can't be at the office all day and all night, okay? You can't party and play all day, okay? There has to be some form of balance. So to be successful, you got to balance these relationships in your life. It's all balancement, you know. Everything is balancement. It's how the universe operates. It's order and there's balancement. So we're talking about maintaining balancement, work-life balancement. Healthy work-life balance refers to maintaining a harmonious relationship between your work and your profession and your personal life. Your work and your personal life. It involves consciously managing your time and energy to meet both professional and personal commitments while prioritizing self-care and well-being. Think about this, right? It involves consciously managing your time and energy to meet both professional and personal commitments, right? That's what it involves, right? You've got to manage both of those. You got to learn to prioritize if you're going to be successful. So think about the times when your business wasn't doing so good and ask yourself, why wasn't it? A lot of times it's because you're not prioritized. And as a person that has a lot of employees, I have to consider my employees, my partners, just as well as I got to consider me trying to make X amount of dollars. Okay, there has to be a balance somewhere, right? And when you see businesses that are failed, or you hear sometimes employees complaining about, man, they're trying to overwork us. They want us, they're overworking us. I mean, if you're in a plant or whatever, right? If you overwork somebody, what's going to happen? You're going to get poor productivity. So there has to be a balance. Okay, there has to be a balance in your life and in your business. For you running your business, there's got to be some form of a balance. If you're married, you're in a relationship, you got to balance this business and balance your personal life. Okay, and even if your partner, you're married to your partner, or you got your personal relationship with the partner, and y'all got to balance things. Everything has to be balanced. When things become imbalanced, chaos happens. It's just like your body. People don't understand what makes us sick. What makes us physically sick is when there's a disconnect between the spiritual part of us and the physical part of us. And it manifests in the physical body as sickness. So people think themselves into sickness, right? Because everything is a thought first, and then it manifests in the physical part of us. That's why the scripture says, as a man thinketh, so shall he be, right? So there has to be balancement. There has to be a connection, a balance. Workaholics. What are workaholics? We know workaholics. Those who struggle to practice self-care find themselves at higher risk for burnout, fatigue, stress-related health issues. Poor work-life balance can also leave entrepreneurs working more hours but being less productive. Okay. Workaholics, they don't practice no self-care. You chasing a dollar. And that's the way they taught a lot of people about entrepreneurship, as if you just got to chase a dollar, right? You don't chase money. You attract it, okay? So the way they taught us about money and economics in this society produces workaholics. So if you're getting compensated by working for somebody, right, which is the worst way to make money, trading your time for money, and because you're short on money, you think, well, I got to get another job. Well, now you're eating up. You went from 8 hours, now you're at 16 hours or 20 hours a day. Your body's only resting 4 hours. Eventually, what's going to happen to your body? Your body, yeah,
burn out.
It's going to burn out. It's going to burn out. Now, who in the world thought of that system? It could only be somebody who just looks at humans just like cogs in a wheel. They just put you in a system, right? And just like a car, you're gonna run and run. What happens? It breaks down, and then they throw it away and they put another person in there, right? But that's how they taught us about money, to chase it instead of attracting it. Okay, so we got to work this more, our minds instead of our behinds, and then we'll get more wealth. Wealthy people don't necessarily work as much as you know, people that will be considered poor or middle class. They work the mind more. It's about making smarter decisions. Okay, it's about letting your money work for you. But we've been programmed to work. And then what happens is a lot of us start a business, and then we take that same mindset of an employee and we put it in our business, and all we do is we chasing the money, and we burning ourselves out. And so I talk to people all the time, and they come and they say, man, I don't know about this business. You know, I'm working, I'm doing this, and ain't nothing happening. And, you know, I'm going hard. I said, well, how long you been doing it? Man, I've been doing it about 6 months. I said, 6 months, that's it? Like 6 months is not a long time, but I don't have no time for myself. I said, because the way you're not prioritizing, you're burning yourself out. You took the same mindset of an employee and you adopted it in your business, right? So that's why we have a thing, when you shift from an E or employee mindset to an S, a self-employed, then you have to start shifting. And then when you shift from self-employed to business owner, you really shift, because then you start employing other people. Or before you can employ someone else, you got to delegate. You got to learn how to say, this person can do this, and I can make money over here without me physically working for it. Okay. But workaholics don't understand that, and that's why they burn out, get fatigued, and you end up getting sick, right? And you hear people that work jobs for 20, 30 years, and then their body's shot. Like, you know, they can't even enjoy life. And a lot of people that work all these hours, they're not even living or enjoying their life, because they're always working. Yeah, you're making a lot of money, but I mean, for what? You know, life should be fulfilling. Money should be utilized for the things that you want out of life. Money is not just designed for you just to pay bills and necessities, right? That's why the term financial freedom, to be free. So now, setting boundaries. All this deals with balance. This involves establishing clear boundaries between work and personal life by defining specific working hours and separating work-related tasks from personal activities. Okay. A lot of us, you know, entrepreneurs, when you start a business, I'm telling you what I did. Man, I would be like, my clock, my phone, it never stopped ringing. Never stopped ringing. You know, I would work 12 hours, I get home, the phone's still on, and I'm still answering. because I'm feeling like, man, I got to get the money. I got to get the money. But what I was doing was devaluing my personal life. I'm neglecting kids and things. Most importantly, neglecting my personal self-care, my personal time, my spiritual development. Chasing something that if you chasing it, it's always going to keep running from you. So we got to attract the things that we want. And so the way we help do that is we set boundaries. If anybody on here, is an employer and has employees, you have to have boundaries between you and the people that work for you. If you have a partner in business, there has to be boundaries, right? What is that? That's setting a balancement, right? You can't be too high, you can't be too low. There's a saying, you should take a compliment the same way you take an insult. People are like, dang, why? Because the same ones that will praise you is going to down you. They'll hail you, then they'll nail you to the cross when stuff stops going their way. So you have to learn balancement in all that you do, right? So set boundaries with people in life. When it's time for business, then it's time for business. But when it's time for your personal life, let it be for your personal life. A lot of us have the habit, because we're so addicted to social media. Who wakes up and then the first thing you do is grab your phone? If you do, that's a very bad habit, because what it is when you wake up, you should have time to reflect. You should have time for yourself. You have to have some personal time. And even if you're manifesting something, there's a time for your mind to settle and let things come to you. But because we've been programmed, it's called a dopamine fix. When we on social media, you scroll and you just become addicted to it, right? You become addicted to this hit, to what's going on. And we're letting that dictate our lives. We have to set boundaries with everything, social media, all of that. Because all these things affect us personally and they affect our business. And they're distractions. And that's why success has a formula. It's just habits. It's habits. Priority management. Efficiently organizing and prioritizing tasks, ensuring that you allocate enough time for work responsibilities as well as personal pursuits.
After 7 o'clock.
Hit mute if you
this can. Lady sat in their face.
All right. Efficiently organizing and prioritizing tasks, ensuring that you allocate enough time for work responsibilities as well as personal pursuits, such as spending time with family.
No, she didn't.
Hit mute. If you're on, everybody hit mute.
And she older lady.
Somebody talking. All right, y'all. So spending time with family, engaging in hobbies, pursuing personal goals, right? So prioritizing the things that you have to do in life. This is all balancement. There's a time and place for everything. Don't treat your life like it's the 9 to 5. See, in the 9 to 5, you on somebody's clock. You got to do this job in this amount of time, and you don't have a life. You're just there to take orders. So when you become an entrepreneur, you should be more, what's the purpose of being an entrepreneur and you're not going to have more freedom? So wealth, money should provide more benefits of freedom. You should have more time to spend with your kids. Why? Because you can create it. You're leveraging, right? You're prioritizing, right? It's priority management. It's really not time management, because time is. You can't really manage time because time just is. But you can manage the things that you do with your time. So if you're an entrepreneur and you make your own hours, then you can design your life you know, and prioritize the things that matter most to you. Because people say, well, you know, I'm doing all this work. I'm trying to, this for my family, this for my family. Yeah, but if you're chasing the money and neglecting your family, your priorities are not correct. So it's all about prioritizing. It's all about getting things in order. I could tell you so many men that I talk to that have lost their families, lost their wives and girlfriends from the music industry. Because, you know, I was in the entertainment and promotions for years. And I would see guys, they want to be rap artists or singers or whatnot, and living in the studio, wasn't making no money, ain't making no hit, but telling they wife or their woman, yeah, man, I'm trying to get this money for us. When they wasn't really trying to get the money for them, it was what they wanted to do, but it was more of their dream, personal. And so if they would have prioritized, they might still have their family, right? And this is because people don't prioritize and manage things, and they don't understand the balancement, right? You're balancing your personal and your professional life. And that's why we say Masternomics is for personal and professional development. You have to develop both ways, but you got to develop personally first, because that's where you're going to learn your values and your principles and the things that really matter in life, right? So balancing business. Try to find a good middle ground between two things that work together, but maybe opposing each other. Balance could mean that you want to make sure both business goals and employee or team satisfaction are given equal weight. So you want to make sure your business goal and your team satisfaction is given equal weight. What does that mean? So if you're going to be a boss, to be a boss is not just, I'm just barking orders. You work for me. You're going to work these hours, right? Just because you're trying to get to some money, but you're not concerning yourself about the people that work for you or the people that's on your team. You got to think about their needs too. There's a balancement. Because just because somebody is working hours and hours doesn't mean they're being productive. I mean, I think all of us probably have worked a job before, and we know how to ride the clock. We know how to say, shit, they think they get me, but I'm getting them. So, you have to learn how to be a boss, so to speak. You got to understand balancement. You got to understand management. All of this deals with you balancing things. In business, balance is important because it allows you to allocate your resources effectively and efficiently. Balancing your budget, for example, can help you avoid overspending in one area while neglecting another, which can lead to financial difficulties down the road. Just balancing your finances, taking time to go over. We always say you got to know your numbers. I probably haven't talked to anyone that's having a problem in business, and 99% of them say, I said, well, what's the problem with the business? They say, I need some money. I need money. I say, well, what's your numbers? What you mean? Well, how much are you making? I don't know. What's your target you're trying to get? What are you bringing in now? What's the monetary goal? They don't know any numbers, but we can't balance nothing. You probably don't need money. You need management skills. And so these are the things that plague us, but these are the things that we got to focus on as entrepreneurs. It's the little things that separate the successful from the non-successful. It's the little habits, It's putting in a little bit of time, to if you know it, to be redundant and go over it again, or to just keep learning if you don't know. So balance. Everything in the universe is balance. It deals with balancement, right? You can't be too high, you can't be too low. It's balancement, right? This is scientific, this is business, this is metaphysical, this is spiritual. It all deals with balancement. You got to learn how to balance. Focus on the results and the outcomes, not at the task at hand. Focus on the results and the outcomes, not on the task at hand. If you're coaching somebody, if you're employing somebody, if you've got a business partner, if you focus on the work so much, it's always going to seem stressful. It's always going to seem hard. But if you focus on the results and the outcomes, it's just going to become second nature because you focus on the result, and it's going to manifest. And that's what you have to do when you're guiding people. You know, when you become the boss or you're the manager, whatever you're doing, you have to show people how to focus on the results. What do entrepreneurs do? Entrepreneurs solve problems. If you're servicing your client, what do you want your client focus on? The results. That's what you want your client to focus on, the results. Whatever service, whatever you're doing, we get the money from people. So we sell them on the results that we're going to get them. If you focus on the results, you're going to be 10 times more successful. You're not going to be complacent. You're not going to make excuses. That's what's necessary. Focus on the results, right? Focus on the results. Setting expectations. By setting clear but flexible expectations for your team, you can help them feel more secure in their job and improve engagement to help drive productivity. Now, you could take this word team, you can change it to employee, you can change it to husband, wife, you can change it to children. What you're doing is helping shift yourself and everyone in your life. So by setting clear but flexible expectations, you have to have expectations, right? It's just like, you know, if you're a parent, once I taught you something, what do you expect your child to listen? Because you got enough sense. Now I expect better out of you, right? If you want a result in life from another human being, you must have an expectation, right? Now, of course, at first, we got to lay it out. So the understanding is the balancement. But I got to set some clear but flexible expectations for your team. You can help them feel more secure in their job and improve engagement to help drive productivity. But if there's no expectation and I hire you for something, I'm just going to get anything. So I got to show you, look, this is what I expect, right? And therefore, you're going to do your best because you're like, well, he expects this, right? She expects that. You take this and apply it to your business, to your personal life, it's going to transform you to be a better person. This is what we're talking about. We're talking about self-mastery. This is stuff that I can't do for you and you can't do it for me. Only I can do it for me and vice versa. But that's the beauty of it, and that's the power, that you have the power. And that's the problem with us as people and humans. We act like we don't have the power. We act like only certain people are supposed to have money. We act like only this or that, or they got money because of this. No, some people are just more disciplined. But you can be disciplined too. Some people just stick to their goals better than the average person. So setting the expectations, right? It is a term, be impeccable with your word. Your word becomes law to you. That's how you got to move. Your word. Balance what customers want with what's best for your business. Now we're about to get into principles. Think about that. Balance what customers want with what's best for your business. There's this term that says what? The customer's always right. Now, anybody here own a business, is that really always right? Is that true? Nah, the customer is really not always right. It's just a level of understanding, right, that we're going to bend for the customer, right? But what does your business want? So you're balancing what your customer want with what's best for your business, right? Now, your business got to have some standards and some principles. If you're a person that don't have standards or principles, you're going to do anything for money. So the standards and the principles define you as the person, and then it just becomes your business. We all have been to some businesses and they're terrible, right? And a lot of people like to say, man, that's why I don't support black businesses, because nah, it ain't really a black or white thing. Some people just bad business. You know, it's just because we commonly might go to our own business more because of the neighborhoods we live in, but it's not really a black or white thing, because white people say the same thing too. There's bad business is bad business, right? And so it's a mindset thing. And when you see bad businesses that have bad customer service, that means their business has no standards or no principles, or they're limited. You might go into one of the biggest fast food places. We know what that is. You know, we know who's selling all these hamburgers. But then you go in there and see how you're treated when you walk in. See if they greet you when you walk in, when you come to that register. They just looking at you. You standing there for 5 minutes. I'm like, damn, man, I just want a burger or something. Nobody gonna greet me. They like, you see the sign up there? Now you go to Chick-fil-A and see how they treat you. They run into the car. Hey, how you doing? Well, that's because the business has principles and standards. And that's how you have to establish your business. But if you're not that type of person, then it's not going to flow into your business, right? So that's why the personal development comes first, because we got to be developed before we develop in these businesses. Balance. We want to make sure both business goals, employee, customer satisfaction are given equal weight. Balance. They all matter, right? All of the above matters. And that's how the successful operate. Balance. Remember that everything deals with balancement. Divine balancement. This is spiritual. Having divine balancement is when we are in touch with both internal self and external energies surrounding us. When there is balance in our lives, there's more harmony and life is easier. We know that. When you're spiritually connected, right? When you're in touch with yourself spiritually, that supersedes everything else. You could be in some of the toughest situations. You could be financially challenged, can't pay this bill, going through that. Somebody passed away, you lost a loved one. That internal balance is what's going to get you through, right? So you can't be so caught up in what's happening outside of you, but you can control what's happening in you. Divine balance. That's divine. See, balance is in everything we do. This is law. I mean, these are laws. Remember, we're talking laws. You can look up, Google the law of gender, masculine and feminine. This is how we exist. Okay. MAAT. MAAT is a term they say comes from ancient Egypt, as they call it Egypt, but it's actually Tamaray Kemet. MAAT, right? Truth, balance, order, harmony, law, morality, and justice. When you see that symbol, that scale right there, now you look at the United States symbol, right? You look at the Statue of Liberty. Next time you see the scale, you see where that came from. It comes from our ancient African sciences and spirituality. that dealt with balancement. So MAAT means balancement, truth, balance, order, harmony, law, morality, and justice. This is what it all symbolized. So this is how, when the original societies and civilizations was established, this is how we lived, and this is what governed us. We had an understanding and principles so that we could always have expectations of us as humans, right? We had to have this, we had to have something to live by in order to help humans push themselves higher. Because the reality is we're really not human, we're spiritual beings having a physical experience. And so we had to live by something that always emphasized the spiritual part of us. But so that we would not be so extreme with the outside, whether it was gold or money as we have it today, we needed to understand there has to be a balance. There has to be harmony, right? There's a time to go hunting, and there's a time to let the animals mate and reproduce. There's a certain time to fish, a certain time to let the fish reproduce. Why? Because if you overfish, so to speak, and you get too many fish, well, they're not even reproducing. So you're going to kill the food supply. So we live with a level of understanding of order and balancement. And that's why, if you go back 10,000 some odd years, the world was a lot more peaceful. There was more harmony, right? Because we on the planet live with order, such as MAAT. There was 42 laws of MAAT. You can Google this, and you'll see the laws and different cultures and societies, just adopted it because that's what humans do. We take what predates us. So MAAT represents ethical, spiritual life principles, and that all Egyptians were expected to follow throughout their daily lives. They were what? Expected to follow. They were expected to act with honor and truth in matters that involve family, community, the nation, environment, and spirituality in every aspect, right? So in order to propel man or propel us, we had to have some laws and some principles to make us be great. But the education system that we have does the opposite. It kills your creativity, right? The school system teaches kids, if they move around too much, he got ADHD, we'll throw him on some medicine. He might be an athlete. He might just have some energy, instead of chastising them, acting like something's wrong with them. We have to understand some of us have different levels of creativity. Okay. Even the testing that's done in schools, how they grade us, A, B, C, D, E, F, right? This standardized testing. Most of your successful people, they wasn't straight A students. Now, if you are straight A students, blessings, then that's very good. I'm not doubting that. What I'm saying is this education system designed people to work in a system. Entrepreneurs solve problems. So when there's a problem, we fix it. In order to fix the problem, you got to think outside of the box. All right. And so you realize that you are created by nature. Okay. And we put expectations on ourselves so we can keep pushing ourselves to the next level. Right. And so that's what entrepreneurship is about. So these are principles that you have to have some level of principles. Now, your own person, man or woman, but you're going to need some principles, some values, something that you stand on, something that your family stands on. And if you get in business, it's going to be reflected in your business. So that's why I said, well, Google who owns Chick-fil-A. Now, you might not agree with everything, whatever, but we know the guy, whoever it is, they have standards and values. Why? Because it's embedded in his system. And remember, success is a formula. It's habits. It's things that are done over and over again. And so when we understood this and we had principles and values, then we understood that we all had the ability to excel. that we should not accept mediocrity. But that's not what the school system is teaching us today, right? In the words of Dr. Sebi, like we going as lions letting bears teach us. Right? And we're great people, we're thinkers, we're intellectual, we're spiritual, we're creators, we're inventors. You know, this is what's in our kids. You know, this is why we focus a lot on teaching our kids, teaching our children, right? Educating our own. I'm not worried about, you know, the school systems and whatnot, because most of what the child learns is through social media and through social interaction. You know, so we got to be wise and conscious of what's going inside of us. So the importance of life principles. Living by principles is important because these rules play an essential role in how we approach situations and deal with problems in ways that align with our internal values, right? These rules play an essential role in how we approach situations and deal with problems in ways that align with our internal values. So how you react to people, if you're dealing with customers, right, and you just talk to them crazy, that's just a reflection of your mindset. Something going on inside you, you know, how you react to your partner, whether it's a business partner, whether it's, you know, your sexual partner, whatever, right? This is something going on inside of us. What are your internal values, right? What's really going on inside, right? Are you living, do you have principles that you live by? Do you have values that you live by? These are the things that will shift you and guide you, right? If you have principles that you stand on, then you're not going to do anything for money. If you got principles that you stand on, right, you're not going to let a customer push you too far. Okay, so if you know, because there's young fools and there's old fools. But guess what? If somebody elderly comes to me and they just talking so crazy, I'm gonna say, out of respect for your age, ma'am, I'd rather stop this conversation and you have a good day. Why? Because that's my values. I respect elders. You see what I'm saying? Now they might be talking crazy as whatever, but that's what I stand on, right? And so each of us, we have to have values that you stand on, right? And the values should make you push and go higher. It shouldn't be something easy, right? You got to have principles that's going to make you push and transform, right? Balance. You see that? Yin yang. Just an example. Positive, negative, right? Masculine, feminine. This is universal. This is universal. Business principles. Organizational principles help shape the culture, processes, and structure of an organization, including how information flows and how decisions are made. Principles help shape the culture, processes, and structure of an organization, right? Think about your family, what principles you standing on. Think about your business, what principles you stand on. This is what shapes the culture, right? Including how information flows and how decisions are made. So if you have a company, you have a company culture. That's how it is. Companies have a culture. When you walk in a certain restaurant, we know, okay, this is the culture, right? If I was to go in a Chinese restaurant, right, I know I'm dealing with their culture. If I go to McDonald's and I'm just standing there at the line, I'm not expecting to be greeted and hey and smiled and they ask me how my day going, because that ain't their culture. They just dealing with speed. We just want to slang burgers. That's why we sell the most. We billions sold. That's all they focusing on. They just serving. They just slanging them, right? You go into other places and you get greeted. That's their culture. So when you're establishing your business, how are you viewed? How is your business viewed? I see people on social media. I'm like, man, she acting like a fool, and then she gonna think somebody want to let them do her taxes tomorrow. You cussing folks out. You arguing about ridiculousness, right? Because people look at you and they're like, oh, well, that's how she run her business. Look at her. That's how she run her business, you know? So all of that reflects. So you got to have principles. We need principles. So balancement and principles in business, right? Some examples of business principles: honesty, fairness, leadership, integrity, compassion, respect, responsibility, loyalty, law-abiding, transparency, environmental concerns. If you was in that type of, some people are into that, we help the environment. We don't use certain types of paper and not plastic, whatever. But whatever, it becomes a part of you, your culture, and the principles, and you represent them, right? So you got to have principles. Whatever your business is, it got to have some principles that you stand on, right? When you're hiring people, you can't just hire anybody because wait a minute, no, you don't coincide with my principles. If we're gonna be in the office, ma'am, you can't come in dressed like that, right, bro? You got to come in. Your pants can't be sagging to your knees. They don't represent this company culture we're trying to do. If that's the line of business that you're in, right? But the point is, we got to have principles to establish something, right? And we got to have balancement. This is what's needed. This is what we have to have in order to advance our businesses and advance our lives, right? And this information, this type of information, is what's going to take us to the next level, right? This is the type of information that is going to transform your business, right? It's going to increase the amount of money you make. It's going to increase the value of your customers when they understand that you stand on principles, right? And you have something that your company stands for. There's a reason why your company should have a mission statement, or whatever service you do. If it's cutting hair, whatever, you need a mission statement of why you do this. I'm sure you don't just do hair just for money. No, just healing in that, So there's got to be something that we stand for, some principles, right? And we got to have some balancement in our lives. This is called conscious living. And this is why we do this, Masternomics. We put it out there. We challenge each other, and we want to see you grow. I want to see your businesses grow. I want to see you flourish. I want everybody on here to be developing. I want to hear the stories about your business growing. I want you to take the information you're getting and share it, and just develop and grow. This is what I do, right? And it's something that you do in your business, and take this information and advance, grow your business, increase your sales. The way you increase that is by add value to people. But before you can add value to others, you got to add value to yourself, and then it's gonna flow, So, hey, that was the presentation on balancement and understanding the principles. Any comments, anything from anyone? I usually have Sabrina be looking at the comments and stuff, but anything anybody want to share, any experience, anything you got out of that?
Well, I'll say this. I have a theme repeating this week that is like, don't overwork, because I have a tendency when I'm like productive to get like hyper fixated on my project, and I don't want to stop. I won't eat. I won't get up. The way them kids play video games, that's how I be when I'm creating content or working on something for a business. And I used to look at it like that was my superpower, because I ran circles around everybody else. But then I learned firsthand what burnout is. And it don't mean you're going to not feel like doing something for a day or a week. Burnout can last for months or years.
That's right.
And it's very hard to bounce back to even being average productive once you go through it. So
nah, that's a very, very, very good point. Burnout is why a lot of people, they collapse in the business. They go about it the wrong way. and it will burn you out. That's why I always say you can't attack your business the way you did as an employee. It's not about, because you're not just getting compensated by the hour. And so, as an entrepreneur, that's the mistake. Some people look at it like, well, I'm just gonna put in, do all these hours, right? And you're killing yourself, but you're not being productive, right? There's a difference between being busy and then being productive. A lot of people are busy, but they're not productive and they're not effective. So that's what produces the burnout. So, that's why it's just so important about the balancement.
I must say, man, it seems like it's a scenario every week. Just literally while we sitting on this call, like I've been slow all week. I haven't really did much, and the guy just called me today, and some people. I think the beauty of being an entrepreneur sometimes is you're able to set your schedule and having that balance. You know what I mean? It's big on balance.
Right.
Being able to take your kids, take your kid to daycare or to school, pick them, and still go work one day and make what someone works 2 weeks to make.
Yeah, that's right.
That's the beauty. That's a blessing. That's a blessing as well. I mean, because I don't believe in that's a blessing and a curse. There's no such thing.
Right. That's right.
It's
that's a good point.
And it's that balance that they kind of keeps that fire burning. It keeps the fire burning so you don't be burned out.
Yeah. Yeah. Nah, great point. Yeah. That's the thing, man. You're gonna be an entrepreneur, be an entrepreneur. Me, I've got children. I've got a disabled child. I'm able to spend time with them, do extra things that I could not do if I was just punching somebody's clock. But you have to be, you got to prioritize and you got to manage, and you got to have boundaries with people in your life. So to be an entrepreneur is to be conscious of your life and finances, and that's what financial literacy is understanding how finances affect every aspect of your life. So that's why we do these classes, and that's what it's about. Also, for everybody on here now, before we go, you will get the email. I told y'all will get the email, but we had a kind of a rough week. But yeah, so our membership now is $10 a month, and we just want to grow this. You got access. We've got Black Friday. We've got courses coming out. You're gonna get a list of the courses we got. We got courses and books gonna be out by Black Friday, and you get discounts on everything. The membership is $10 a month. You get access to these free classes. I'm coaching. This is what I do all day, every day. Helping people just transform their lives. And I do it because I love it. I do it because I love it. And being an entrepreneur, I have different aspects to my life that I would not be able to do if I was not an entrepreneur. So, I just want to see everybody here expand your business. Whatever you're doing, expand it. And I want to help you grow it.
I just want to say thank you so much to the Glens for all that you do and your vision. And I'm thankful for that. You definitely been in life on both sides, whether coming supporting my business or supporting me and my children and starting businesses. I want to tell you thank you for that. It's all about planting seed, and tonight you planted so many seeds. I just been praying that it is falling on fertile ground. One thing that I like to add is knowing your audience, who we're speaking to. It does not take a whole lot of people. So when you are chasing the money, you're trying to get so many people, but how much are they really contributing to you? Are they more of a gain, an asset, or liability? So we have to be very mindful of that, and also always thinking of the balance, because in your business, you're gonna have to learn to minimize these as much as possible. So you can have a few loyal, quality customers or clientele or people that you speak into their lives. Whether you're like Coach Cam just said, you know, one person that is loyal to you and that is going to go and spread that word or do something in their lives, it can bring on a whole slew of people like-minded. So of your customers or whomever you're doing business with. And that's what Chick-fil-A stands on, the quality.
That's right. I don't know if you went out. You still on, Shonda?
Oh, I'm here. No, I was
Okay.
done.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I mean, that was excellent what you just said. It's key. And I hope everybody heard that. Yeah, that was, I definitely appreciate that input because it's so true. It's quality over quantity. Yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah. Very, very, very good point that you made, you know. Well, everyone, I appreciate you guys. We don't like to keep people long. We know we've got lives and we got to get to it. But hey, we'll be back next week, you know, same time, 7 o'clock, Thursday, every Thursday. So I thank everyone and we'll see you all soon.
Good night. Thanks.
All right, good night.